honest, I've seen better plans in an Airfix kit.
Do I ever find my singing type in? Screw is a pill. I want to see skin.
You absolutely insist on using erotic persuasion to achieve your devious ends?
Strangely happens. Doesn't mean we can't be friends.
Go for a flipper. I'll be back for Christmas.
Well, I was only away 2 minutes.
Follow the rimmer-shaped blur.
Apparently the gentleman's name is Rimmer, sir.
They broke my leg.
They broke my leg.
Better dead than Smeg.
Oh, I forgot. I haven't told you the news.
I would use it to buff my suit.
Hello and welcome to this week's Smedcast with me, your guest host, yet again. And we have in the room this week, Mark with a K.
Hello.
Orie.
Hi.
And returning, James.
Hello.
Welcome back. And
Thank
of course, our other regulars, John.
Oi, oi.
And Chris.
Hi.
Hello. Okay, this week's a slightly different podcast. We are focusing on one thing only, and that is the last episode of Red Dwarf at the moment. As we know, there's 6 more to come in Series 12, but so far we're up to Can of Worms. We're going to be doing this on a fortnightly basis, reviewing each episode of Red Dwarf, starting with the end and going backwards, but as the end is in Can of Worms. So, we're going to talk about what we thought of it. Let's just do a quick rundown of the episode. So, from memory, it starts off with Lister in a comatose state in Starbug.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just had.
He's in a food coma.
That's right. He's in a food coma because he's had a Sunday roast, which has knocked him out till Monday.
All the trimming.
Yeah. And then I believe they come across an area of space where they think there might be vampire girls. Is that right? So obviously they make the point that they suck on virgins, and Kat's very worried about this. And then they find out actually there's a mercenoid that's carrying a prisoner, and it's going to go into a sun and commit suicide. And they think they need to go and save this prisoner. They do so, and it's another cat, a female cat. So Cat's very happy about that, but then it turns out that this cat is actually a polymorph, and the mercenoid was trying to get rid of it.
Well, that was actually quite good, to be honest. I mean, it's a return of a polymorph on the favourite.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I think, what does everyone think of the fact that that it was sort of made out to be the big cat episode we've been promised for so long, and then it sort of went off at a tangent and wasn't quite what we were expecting.
I thought it was a very clever idea to start off with something that you expected to happen and then change completely as the show went on. My thoughts were that it was a bit along the lines of the film Species, a few scenes in there, but I did like the way it progressed.
Yeah.
I mean,
I thought it almost felt like something with 2 parts to it. Like sort of part 1 before they find out she's a polymorph, and part 2 afterwards. Yeah.
In the original write-up to the episode, it was pretty much making it look like it was going to be a cat episode. You know, Cat finally meets a female. He's going to get his end away, and it was going to follow that. and it sort of it did to a point until we found out that this female cat wasn't really a Felosapien. It was actually a polymorph, and then it just went off a completely different direction. For me, that was a surprise because I haven't worked out there was going to be polymorphs in it at all. I know some people had actually already worked out that polymorph was going to come into it because of the opening title sequence, and you saw Lister fighting with a pineapple. And so some people.
I have to agree with him there. I hate pineapples.
Like Tommy kebab this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some people have already worked that out. Okay, so what did everyone think of the episode as a whole then?
I thought it was a very good episode. I mean, again, the one standout for me for the whole of season 11 was Danny John-Jules. You know, they had more episodes revolving around them, and he stepped up to the plate. So, and it's actually really refreshing to see episodes revolving more around him. Whereas for a lot of series, it was just a sort of punchline guy. So I think that was a positive.
Mm.
Yeah, he felt a lot more involved in Series 11.
I was going to say it felt like almost like it was a cat series.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was every episode he was involved heavily in some way, and then it sort of the series ends with an episode focusing on him completely. It was almost like the series was building up to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was nicely done.
Yeah. Is there anything that anyone didn't like about the episode?
For me, see the bit when they've got the multiple versions of like Rim or Lister and Crichton. It seemed a bit like it was okay, but it seemed a bit like as if I've seen this before somewhere. It's a bit obvious.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, but at the same time, when I said I liked Gunmen because it had sort of a Westworld vibe to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sequel to Westworld Future World actually had two of the main characters trying to figure out if they were each other or their clones, and it felt a bit like that to me. Sort of which one's the real one, which one's the clone.
It did seem to borrow a lot off other science fiction series in the fact that who's the real one, who's the fake one, the kind of the Mexican standoff.
Yeah, but I really like when they do that. So
they did it really well.
Yeah, the payoff was brilliant at the end. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
That's what made that part for me. Otherwise, it would have just been kind of, oh, here we go again, a wee bit.
I mean, Red Dwarf has always been known for its outstanding use of split screen, and this series is just taken it to another level. I mean, we'll be discussing the split screen and give and take in a later episode, but in this episode 2, you know, it's extremely well done, especially in the lift.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to work out for a long time why they were all dressed as E17.
You mean that band that's only famous around Christmas time? That's the only people they had.
Yeah.
I thought they were trying to remake the video, you know.
Yeah.
Although I thought it was good to sort of have a, you know, where they switch off all the heat except for in one place because cats like warm things.
Yep.
I like that they were bringing back sort of making him more cat-like in this series.
Yeah, actually. I've got.
Because he just sort of turned into like a regular human-like person for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, because all of the... sorry for interrupting, but it was like all of the heat. I think it was Justice, where he's unplugging the console just so he can get like his hair sorted out.
Yeah.
So,
it's,
I mean,
and the fact that the string gag came back again was brilliant.
Yeah.
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 Game.
And that was brought back again in at the end of Series 10.
It was.
It was.
Yeah, when he gives Rimmer some advice, and it was weird how he had gone back to this sort of catty way again, because in like, you know, Series 3 and 4 and 5 and I think it's even 6, it's when he's part of the ensemble and part of that sort of what's the word I'm looking for, you know, that sort of thing where they're all buddies, you know, they're all working together. That's when he was that's when he became more of a
squad,
of a human-y character. Yes, sort of squaddy type thing, you know.
Yeah.
Rather than just being a cat.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that was it. Maybe they were like trying to have some character development, that they all come together and sort of improve as their friendships grow, and then they thought, oh, maybe we should make him act like a cat again.
Yeah.
Because he is a cat.
What did everyone think of the... well, one of my favourite bits, actually, is when the baby polymorphs start turning into cute little things to try and stop them from being spaced.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I want a hamster on a skateboard.
Yeah.
And a hedgehog in a little trolley.
Wearing
a
a
top hat.
Top hat, yeah. And what do we all think of the scene before that when Kat was giving birth?
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yes, two of the male characters now that have given birth.
Yeah. When we were watching that, I turned to my mum and said, "Is this accurate?" And she went, "Yes." That's exactly how childbirth works, and they immediately turn into boats afterwards.
That is your typical polymorph water birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose it depends on how many drugs you've had at the time.
Well, yeah.
Ow.
Yeah, giving birth to a space hopper.
And a fully inflated space hopper as well.
I know. Yeah. Okay, so what did everyone think of the actress who played the female cat? She had very small amounts of screen time.
In it a lot.
Yeah, that's
I
right,
wish
yeah.
she was. I wish she'd been in it more. I really liked her.
Yeah,
This man, and oh, this is a man.
I think there's one disappointment. It was the fact that she wasn't in it enough. I was expecting a lot more with her, even though she is a polymorph. That, you know, would have been nice to see a lot more female cat.
Best polymorph we've seen so far.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and I think the actress who played did a great job. I'll be honest. When I first saw her, I wasn't actually quite sure. It took about 2 or 3 watches altogether to actually get used to her, and I think I'm now very much in that opinion that would have been nice to see more.
I think the danger was that she was maybe a bit too much like Danny John-Jules, but she was able to sort of be similar, but be herself in a sense. She wasn't like just like a doppelganger, which I think was actually very good, and that's it. And that. But it does take maybe 2 watches, 3 watches to really get it.
At the same time, though, you could sort of liken it to the joke they had at the start about him having the love affairs with the mirror because he loves himself so much. The polymorph sort of mimicking how he acts to try and get him to like her. Yeah.
And also, in Parallel Universe, of course, he's disappointed to find out his female opposite was a dog. And now, he finally does meet his female opposite. If it was a cat, probably would have been like that.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in that, like when they got the visions in the episode, when they got the visions of who they loved, like they all had like female versions of themselves, but the cat had himself.
Oh yeah, the Camille. Yeah.
Yeah. Camille.
Yeah.
So it's not beyond. It's not really beyond sort of Red Dwarf lore that it would be a version of him that he falls in love with.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
The person that plays cat, or the female cat, is Dominic Moore in it.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I thought I knew her from somewhere. She was in a show from my childhood called Hotel Trouble and stuff like that. She's also, funny enough, she was in Oliver as well on Beta. So.
Mm.
And apparently, she Horrible History, she played Mary Seacole, which her portrayal has gained her recognition from celebrities from Eddie Izzard, Adrian Lester, and Tanya Franks. So.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wikipedia. Cool.
The most helpful tool.
Well, not for copy and pasting.
This series of Red Dwarf had a lot of memorable lines in it, I think, and this episode is no different. So, what is everyone's favourite lines if you remember them?
Ooh.
Well, I don't remember the actual lines, but at the start of the episode, where they're trying to track down something moving, and Rimmer's looking at the screen saying, "It's nearby," and they suddenly realise it's actually
Could
there.
these life forms by any chance be us?
That's it.
Yeah. For me, as much as it's not a line, it's a good visual gag when they're talking about the brain implant thing, and you've got like Craig Charles just sitting there with his mouth aghast, and you're thinking it's happened already, but obviously it's yet to happen.
What's funny about that is it's a nice callback to Body Swap.
Mm.
And so you think they've already done it, and then the joke is they haven't.
I think the most 2 memorable lines for me were "mirror in the bathroom, mirror in the hall," and when he asks the polymorph if she's got a name, and she goes, "Of course, everyone's got a name," and then you never find out what it was.
I never noticed that.
Everyone's got a name, stupid.
Chris, have you got a favourite line?
Probably that one you mentioned. I think it was the beginning of when Remmer was. I think he was observing the other team crew. I think was searching for the other polymorph or something like that in the thing. What was that one you mentioned?
Yeah.
Could
those life signs be us?
Yeah, it was in the trailer as well when I first remember watching it.
Yeah, who here saw the trailer?
They should really put that in the manual.
Yeah, I saw the trailer for it. Very good.
Yeah.
It's on the manual in big red letters. Yeah.
Really easy to miss.
So, out of us who saw the trailer, that joke was in there. It was one of the main jokes they featured. Was that spoiled for you when you finally got to it in the episode?
No, I think it was still funny when it came up.
Yeah.
It kind of fitted more kind of with the context of what was happening as well.
Yeah. I was waiting all soon for that joke to come up.
Yeah, it's one of those jokes that they put in because they know you're going to get really excited when it happens.
I think when it happened, they probably thought, right, that's one for the trailer.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a favourite quote, but it's from season 11, but I mean, admit it's not Can of Worms, but
which one is
it's the one where Captain Bollocks. So.
Oh well, that's we'll come back to that one in a few weeks.
Yeah, I was saying it's the same season but different episode.
Yeah, that's a preview for a few episodes time. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Whoopsies.
Yeah, spoilers if you're watching it backwards. Well, I think I've got a couple of favourites. One of my favourites is when they find out. They obviously find out it's Polymorph, and they've got to go and tell Cap because he's just had his date with the Polymorph, and they say, "Cap, how can I break this to you? You're a moron."
Oh yeah.
Oh, lay off him, Cap. You're a moron.
I'll be honest. I've already started saying that to my friends.
Yeah. There is, a selection of quotes that you probably use in everyday life, and I think that's been added to my collection. I do agree with you there.
Oh,
Orie.
definitely.
Yeah. You're a moron. Usually when I'm watching the news.
Well, yeah, lately, yeah.
Yeah.
And then straight after that, of course, is when Kat insists that even though she was a polymorph, it still counts.
It still counts.
Go on,
I
then,
had a very interesting conversation with my friends once about whether or not it counts. And I think the result was it counts if you count it in your mind or something weird like that. It depends on how you define it. But I think it was about something else, but it definitely got brought up because of this episode.
Yeah.
So there's always an argument when I watch it with friends about whether or not it counts.
Yeah. Well, as far as the cat is concerned,
most people probably don't want to count it.
Well, he had a dream about it at the end, didn't he?
Yeah.
That was very funny.
Yeah, that was a great ending.
I mean, could you imagine if that was the last episode and the last line of Red Dwarf is "Pipe me"?
Going back to earlier when we were all just screaming.
Wow! And that's Red Dwarf finished forever. Hope you enjoyed it. And then I think my last favourite line in that episode has got to be when they find out the mercenary was actually, attempting to kill the polymorph. And Lister says, nomination for JMC Crew of the Year is starting to look unlikely.
Those damn space monkeys are going to get it again.
That's the one, yeah. I never knew the universe was so populated. There was another crew somewhere, doing the same thing as Red Dwarf, and there was some sort of award for it,
That's what I was going to ask. Do you think there are any JMC ships out there?
Probably, but I don't think they'd have other people on them.
No.
So it'd just be like Red Dwarf, but only derelicts.
Or they could be like, androids or something.
Yeah. Holograms, androids.
I mean, how would the show Androids still be going otherwise?
Yeah. And of course, in Trojan, you had the shopping channel, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the ship that Rimmer's brother was on.
Was it the old droid shopping channel or something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, all droid or something, wasn't it? This was the last episode of Series 11. What do you think of the feel of the Series 11 as a whole? Comparison
I think
to
they're
previous
improving.
series.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely improving.
It's definitely one of the strongest series.
Yeah, because Doug's obviously on his own now. So, I mean, he's finally found, I think someone said in the other episode, so he finally found his feet again. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a couple of episodes that finished just randomly. They never had a proper ending though. But aside from that, I think it was overall a very strong series.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, Can of Worms, is not a series finale, not like the beginning was.
No.
Yeah, and it was very much done as something that wasn't a series finale.
Right, it
Well,
was.
I think I actually prefer
God.
Crisis as the last episode. That'd be quite.
It feels more, like a last episode. But Can of Worms wasn't the first. So wasn't the last one to be recorded in that run.
No.
It
That could be why.
It was
It was
the
in
second. It was the
production
second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they recorded Give and Take first, and the second week they recorded Can of Worms, and they recorded Twentica last.
Oh.
So it was a very...
yeah.
It was all shot... Apart from Officer Rimmer, it was all shot completely out of order. And I think that's why, to me, Can of Worms feels like a middle episode. But as I said...
because it wasn't...
Yeah, as I said on
shot
as I said on the previous podcast, it's because it's a middle of a 2-series run anyway.
Yeah.
And I think it just what it does is it leaves us hanging, waiting for series
Leaves you
12.
excited for more.
Well, yeah, in a sense, because the way it was written, like as 12 episodes, then you could argue, or whatever it was.
Technically, it is a middle episode, yeah.
Yeah, that it was, that he'd never written any ending for season 11 because they never felt they need to, because there was never any need to end it in a cliffhanger because season 12 was always going to be around the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we're going to rate the episode now. And I'm going to ask you individually how you rate it out of 10. So we'll start with Chris.
Oh. Well, Can of Worms wasn't really a good episode in my opinion. Probably say about 6 or actually a 7 out of 10.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah. I'm not going to find a friend on that one.
Oh, okay. So why was it not a strong episode for you?
Well, as you guys have said, we was actually thought the cat episode was going to be a lot more comedy into it, that kind of thing. But we was actually expecting that. But when we watched it, it wasn't as we actually thought the episode wasn't going to be as good as we thought it was going to be. So it was a bit of a letdown, to be quite honest, on the last one. So to say about it, Doug, but it's a good. It's actually good. Our Doug's right all these episodes up, but Can of Worms wasn't as great as the other episodes, which we'll talk about next.
Yeah.
Podcasts.
Right. Do you think you're expecting more from that episode?
Yeah. It was a bit low. I mean, it was more really. I don't think there was more great deal of laughs in there, to be quite honest.
Okay, so that's 7 from you.
Yeah.
Okay, 7 from Chris. James, how would you rate the episode out of 10 overall?
I'd also give it a 7. I think purely because it was a little bit disjointed. It did feel like an episode of two halves, and it did feel that it could have expanded on, or kind of been smoothly is not a word.
It is now. You've made it up.
It could have been more smoothly put together. It did just feel a little bit disjointed. So
right.
I think there was a few good jokes in there.
Yeah.
So that's 2 7s so far. Orie, how do you rate it?
Well, I was going to say about 8. I might go a bit higher after all the screaming jokes. But having been the one who originally mentioned that it felt like an episode that was in two halves, I'm now going to defend that. Because halfway through, when you find out that she's actually a polymorph, you get what's called the second act slump, where you found out, and what do you do now? And that's when they have to bring in something that's different.
Yeah.
Which, in this case, is the baby polymorphs.
Well, I agree.
So that's probably why it felt disjointed, because there's, as much as we all wanted her to be in more of it, there's only so much you can do with it.
Yeah.
And then you hit slump as soon as you find out what's happened.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it starts one way and then just goes off in a totally different direction and has to just carry it to the end. So
yeah, exactly.
I kind of agree with that, yeah. Mark with a K?
Don't know.
Okay, we'll skip you then.
Make up another.
I don't
Make
really
up.
know.
It looks like it's probably about 7, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going with it for everyone else. I mean, I liked it, but there's like certain parts where it's just you don't get the same like enjoyment factor. It's like once you've seen it once, it's like it doesn't get like with other episodes. You can watch it again, you'll laugh, but it's like one of those episodes you see it once, it's a novelty, but when you just look it over and over again, it's just going to be like...
It's not a surprise anymore after the first time.
It's just kind of case of, oh wow, that's happening.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Which sadly you can't really avoid.
No, I mean, obviously it happens with the best of shows, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
It's sad.
It does, yeah.
One of the finale episodes.
I mean, I wish I could go back and watch Queeg for the first time again.
Yeah,
but I know.
I think we all do.
You can only watch that one once to have the full impact.
Yeah.
I think also the end of Backwards as well is also one of those moments that once you've seen it.
It took me so long to get the joke at the end of Backwards. I'm so embarrassed it took me this long.
Don't ask.
I was young naive, and innocent back then, and I didn't know what it was he'd gone for behind the bushes.
It took me 8 years to figure it out.
I know what had happened, but I thought it was just he'd gone for a pee backwards. I didn't realise it was the other one.
Yeah. No, I got what it was, but I just laughed because of the visual gag of him standing up with his face, like, oh my god, you know?
Yeah, I thought it was more to do with the look on his face. I didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't catch on for ages.
Right, John. What do you think of the episode? How'd you rate it out of 10?
7.5. As I say, it's good that it was a cat episode. Not the strongest cat episode of the series, in my opinion. As I say, I thought it was going one way, cause, this is the episode where he's going to lose his virginity. But then suddenly, oh my god, it's like Polymorph Part 3. That was great, but maybe there wasn't enough of the actual female character with Polymorph in it. As I say, the episode, the part of the episode when they all sort of like triplicated, that I didn't like, but the payoff on it was very good.
Right.
Yeah.
So 7.5.
7.5.
Indeed.
What was your rating again, Mark?
I said 7 as well.
7 as well. And Orie, what was yours again?
About
7?
8.5.
Oh, 8.5. Right.
Yeah.
One moment.
Hold on. No,
it's all right.
No, it's okay. No.
Where does that calculator
James,
go?
James, you said 7
7 as well.
Yeah, and Chris said 7. I've got 7, it. Don't worry. Okay, well I'm going to add mine then. I'm going to rate it the lowest. Actually, I'm going to rate it a 6.
Right.
It's in my opinion, it's not my favourite of the series. In fact, I think it's my least favourite. I was at first quite disappointed to find out that it wasn't the cat episode we were expecting, but then, after it went off in this different direction, I sort of accepted it for what it was and was kind of, surprised and mildly happy that it was another Polymorph episode, which I keep dubbing as Polymorph 3. And yeah, I can watch it and enjoy it, but because the rest of the series for me was a very high quality, and I loved pretty much all the other episodes, standing up against those episodes, Can of Worms just isn't the strongest, and even though I've also said that it doesn't feel like a finale and it's it leaves us hanging for series 12, I would have liked it to be a slightly stronger episode after given the fact that the series itself has been a really strong series. It just if it was if there'd been weaker episodes in this series, from my point of view, I wouldn't have minded it so much. It's just to finish off with one of my least favourite episodes of that series just marks it down. But it is a good episode anyway. It's just not the favourite.
Right, could I get everyone's points quickly? I know I said 7, right? I'm gonna go in order, right? Tim, what was your points?
Mine was 6.
John?
7.5.
Yeah, to be awkward. Right, Orie?
8.5.
8.5, making it a round figure. Chris?
7.
James?
7.
Oh,
So we should have an average score now.
Yep.
Sorry, is this strictly
I
from
think
dance?
generally it's about
7.
Yeah, it is now.
Right, 7.16%.
When we get to Parallel Universe, we should rate just the dance from Tongue Tied.
Definitely.
With a total on a 71.66 recurring.
You mean 7, yeah.
71.6.
7.16.
7.16, yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. Okay, so we are about 7.1.
Yeah, it was always going to be about
out
7.
of 10.
I'll keep a folder on my laptop, so.
So, that's Can of Worms. Not a bad start. In 2 podcast time, we'll be doing Crisis, the unofficial last episode of Series 11. And
Yay!
and we all sound really excited about that. I'm excited about that one.
You'll find out why I sound so unhappy when we get to it.
Oh, okay. I'm quite excited about it because it's one of my favourites. But I'm looking forward to hearing everybody else's perspectives on it.
I thought it'd stop recording for like the past half an hour, but it's good. It's good.
No,
you haven't lost half the recording.
You can say it's a crisis averted.
Oh. God damn it!
Have you got your recording on speed dial? So, thank you everybody for joining this week for the Smegcast number 4, where we've been discussing Can of Worms. Next week we're back to the normal Smegcast. I don't know who'll be hosting. Might be me again. Might be Evie. Might even be Mark with a C, because he might have his microphone sorted out. They send their apologies for not being here, but hopefully they'll be back on the podcast again soon. And thank you everybody for listening. Thank you, Mark, with a K.
No problem.
Thank you, Orie.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, thank you for being with us on 2 occasions. I hope we have you back again.
Woo.
Hopefully we'll be back again. Yes.
Fantastic. And thank you very much to John.
Merci beaucoup.
And thank you to Chris.
Thank you.
And yeah, thanks to me. All right, everybody. So
Thank you,
Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you. There we go. So thanks for listening, everybody, and it's goodbye.
Bye.
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 We.
Okay then. Here we go then.
Hold on.
Hello and welcome to this week's Smegcast. Oh, I'm going to start that again.
Hey.
I almost swore then too.
Hold on.
Oh, Smeg.
Smeg's sake.
No, yeah, I started recording the wrong project. Hold on.
Right.
Oopsie doodles. Stop.
I can let you guys know I'm recording the whole thing this time. Here we go.
Welcome to episode 4. So guys, what have you been doing this week?
Hold on, wait. I'm not recording.
Oh, but it's wearing a little hat.
The little kitten, though, I really want a pet cat like that.
You don't want my cat. You mean you can have my cat if you want. All it does is fuss around your legs once a minute. Yeah, you can have my...
No, I want a hamster on a skateboard.
Yeah.
And a hedgehog in a little trolley. Yeah.
Wearing
a
a
top
top
hat.
Top hat, yeah. Yeah. And what do we all think of the scene before that when Kat was giving birth?
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2 of the male characters now that have given birth.
Yeah. When we were watching that, I turned to my mum and said, "Is this accurate?" And she went, "Yes." That's exactly how childbirth works, and they immediately turn into boats afterwards.
That is your typical polymorph water birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose it depends on how many drugs you've had at the time.
Well, yeah.
Ow.
Gas and air. Lore that it would be a version of him that he falls in love with.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Silence again. Yeah, I'm just trying to. I'm just going for the notes. We can cut the silences out. This is not a Howard Pinter play, right?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Person.
All Droid or something, wasn't it?
Sorry, I just unplugged my headphones by accident.
It's all right. There were no sounds to hear anyway.
Good. The Smeg ups for this episode are just going to be like 20 minutes of silence.
It's going to be longer than the actual episode.
Yeah. It took me so long to get the joke at the end of back. I'm so embarrassed it took me this long.
Don't ask.
I was young, naive, and innocent back then, and I didn't know what it was he had gone for behind the bushes.
It took me 8 years to figure it out.
I know what had happened, but I thought it was just he'd gone for a P backwards. I didn't realise it was the other way.
Yeah. No, yeah. I got what it was, but I just laughed because of the visual gag of him standing up with his face, like, oh my god, you know?
Yeah, I thought it was more to do with the look on his face. I didn't.
Yeah.
It didn't catch on for ages that it was about the way he was walking that tells you what the joke was.
Yeah.
That backdoor joke again there.
Yeah, that's the backdoor joke's coming back.
And if you're playing Smegcast Innuendo Bingo at home, that's a line.
We should definitely play Innuendo Bingo one day.
I think so.
Somehow get all of the Smegcasts together and just play Innuendo Bingo.
I think we should do that. Yeah. We'll pencil it in for episode 5 and 6.
The entire thing is people saying backdoor and screaming.
Go into a family gathering, just cap.
Solid gold, that. Solid gold.
Oh, someone did tell me that Orie is the Queen of Lube, or the Lube Fairy, I should say.
Yes, I'm the Lube Fairy.
Yeah.
Although, actually, I've got a lot of friends who do pole dancing classes, and they walk a lot like that afterwards because you get bruises all up the backs of your legs.
They should be lubing up the poles.
Well, hopefully it's pole dancing classes. Otherwise, I don't want to know what they've been doing.
Carpet burns.
Carpet burns.
I recorded the whole thing this time, so you're all right.
You mean you call him Uni?
Is your refrigerator running? Well, you better go catch it.
No, but it's letting aliens take pictures of us.
Oh, that's weird.
Well, they're aliens. Their ways are very different to our own.
Well, yeah. For a start, they break legs and do jigsaws, don't they?
Exactly.
And they use all the bog roll.
You mean you don't break legs and do jigsaws?
No.
Oh, damn. No wonder people didn't like me in school.
Oh, yeah.
That would be the problem.
Yeah, I think I found one of my social aspects are going down.
Yeah.
Breaking people's legs, doing jigsaws, and calling people aliens. I don't think that's a good way to make friends.
Well.
In your first job. So, what do you see yourself in 10 years? Aliens! No, that's my wife.
While you're here, just remember to say, I didn't come to make trouble. I'm only here to do the Red Dwarf Shuffle.